Hi, and welcome into a video about race prep. Let me just say that this is a video that I pulled off of what I myself have done because I was a racer for a number of years, got up to the point of actually racing as a pro, and then I burned out really hard because, graduate school plus going and racing it just doesn't work very well, at least for me. And what I've done working with folks who do race. Be aware, a lot of this stuff you're going to have to figure out for yourself, but I'm going to try to give you some general guidelines. Guideline 1, you are responsible. All right, well, you have a great team with the Boise Brave group. You've got great coaches, great parents who are preparing a lot of stuff for you. Ultimately, you are in charge of you. All right, which means that if you bonk because you failed to get enough food the morning of a race, that is totally on you. All right, because I should be prepared so that even if I wake up late and I miss the morning meal, I should still have food that I can eat to, walk into that race at least as prepared as I can be. So a couple things I would go and think about here, and I'll, again, go and keep my list short. Your bike. This is a thing you should prep like 7+ days out. Because a week or more gives me time that if I need to have my fork worked on or fixed, that's probably enough time to get that done. If I need to bleed brakes, I have time to go out and ride them and make sure that they work, all of that type of stuff. If I get, a new chain, I have at least a couple rides where I can make sure that it shifts right. So a week, and in fact, I'll just say 7 to 14 days. 7 to 14 days. Get your bike checked out. All right, it should be running perfectly at this point. As a note, if you have anything, if you decide to get into the point where you're going to buy race tires, which should be the same as what you ride normally, because if they're not, that's a fast way to go and mess up a race really bad. If you're going to do anything like a lightweight race tire, which is not required by, a stretch, but just some folks prefer them, I would be putting that on about 4 days out, because I like to get for myself at least one ride, if not two, to make sure that those tires set up correctly, that they're not leaking air, that they're not weak in a spot, that they're not, going to break in my first lap. All right, but again, that's a thing that really I'd argue is for later in your race career. Number 2, food. Prepare. I'm always a big fan of, even if you know that you've got a team meal, bring a little bit of extra food just in case you're still hungry, or just in case, you slept in and you kind of missed it. Always a good idea. So I would plan out what you need to eat and bring it all. I would always, for myself, I would always find a way that I knew that I had a little bit more food than what I needed. Because if I didn't need it, I could just bring it back home, right? If I needed it and I didn't have it, I'm kind of out of luck, which is a problem. Third one, hydration. Because you might not know where the nearest water source is, I would make sure that when you show up and our days beforehand, you are hydrating, that you're on top of your own fluid intake. Because if I hit race morning and I didn't drink enough, chugging water is not going to help you. All right, it just will not. It's too late at that point. So make a plan. Again, that will be a point here. Plan it out. Hydrate a lot. Pre-ride, I'll put PR and warm up. WU. Know the plan. All right. So talk to coaches. They have a plan. Know what it is and what you need to do at a certain time. This is going to be a part for point 2 here in just a second. All right, so you are responsible for you. You need to know what you're doing, because ultimately you're in charge of your own race. Number 2, plan. And by that I mean this gets really, really granular if you want to really try to eliminate chances of having a bad race due to like mechanical or food problem. For myself, I would plan out everything. Like I would have a list going from about a week out of exactly for 7 days out and 6 days out and 5 days out and 4 days out. What am I doing each day? What do I need to go and prepare? Maybe I'm, 4 days out, I'm going and putting on my race tire set and I'm going and checking my tent to make sure there's no mold in it. That's always a good thing. And all the way out through post-race. Okay, so planning is a big part. And again, up here I said plan, plan. If you have a plan, I can follow a plan easily. If you stop and just sit and talk with, those of us who go and coach and go and work with you, we can kind of help you make out a plan. But the point of a plan is that it's going to reduce stress and it's going to give you a timeline that you can follow walking up to the point that you set foot on that course and they say 3, 2, 1, go. Number 3, part of that plan, and I guess it could be 2A, is backups. Think about what might go wrong that I can actually prevent within reason and create a backup plan. So for example, a fast one for myself was I knew in my races that that the only thing I could eat was a strawberry banana power bar gel. Like that was the only food that worked for me. So while I had them on my top tube, which just to go and show you, if this is the top tube of a bike, I would have this little plastic attachment thing here where I could put the little goose right here. I would go and plan things like, well, what if this thing breaks and falls off and I lose all of my gels? So I'd always throw like 1 or 2 in the back pocket. I don't think I ever reached for them, but this occurred because I had a race where this happened. It fell off. I lost all of my food in lap 1 of a 4-lap race. That was a long race. I had no food at all. As a point here, if you're going to do hydration fuel, which all of you are, if you know that you have a 3-lap race or above where you're out there for more than 1 hour, think about like, hey, maybe there is like one type of a gel where I can just carry 1 packet, where if for some reason I grab the wrong bottle and it's water and not a Scratch Labs, I at least have some food I can go and fall back on if I feel like I need it, right? So backups. What's nice for us with the team, backups, mechanical, so I'll put mech. We have team supplies on that one. So you don't have to worry too much if you're really tied to a certain form of a tire that you go and race with and you have a spare, bring it with you because you don't want to blow out like, a sidewall in the pre-ride and be toast. Number 4, last thing, biggest thing, rest. All right. Resting will go and allow you to reach that race in the right spot. This does include a couple things during the pre-ride, which I'll just put PR. The point of this is to see the course. So the biggest thing I can say is while there is a point to go harder at some points, short, hard, like a short, hard, maybe like a hill, might help you feel more prepared for the race. We're not going hard the entire time. So go and keep it generally easy riding. And if you have a phone, take photos. I can go and take those, and once I go and show back up, I can review the photos. As a point, what I would go and shoot are things like where I knew was a really good spot to go and drink water or eat food, because those tend to not be available everywhere on our course. So where do I want to eat and drink, right? If it's a tricky course, where's the top of the hill, or where are the top of hills if there's multiple ones, so I can recognize when I'm about to go downhill, right? If there's any tricky turns, tricky rock gardens, things that I might miss or things where I might crash, take photos of my way in, through, and going out. Because then I can review them, and by reviewing them, I can mentally walk through the course and what I'm doing, which means that in a race, if we have dust, which we had in the first race, you at least have some form of a basic mental idea of, oh yeah, this turn has that giant pothole right in like the middle of it. So when I hit the apex of the turn, I need to be slowed down or else I might flip. So again, this is preparing for potential race day things like dust. So in short, and this is a very, very, very short list, this is what I would say I would be thinking of if I were doing race preparation. Is these are 4 easy steps and things I can do, but above all, I just have to say rest is important, planning is very important, and again, you are in charge of you. If you bonk and go and smash into a wall because you didn't eat beforehand, you are in charge of that. It is down to you to do all that stuff. So be prepared. Last thing here, if you feel like that this is a lot of stress here, oh my God, there's so much stuff, talk with your coaches. We can help you walk through this in more of an individualized way so that you feel prepared walking in. With that said, that's all I have for you for this talk. And if you have a question, bring it on into our practice or post it below.